Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're decoding the invisible network and the protocols that are working tirelessly behind the scenes every single time you hit send. I mean, we all kind of take for granted that our messages just magically appear on our recipient's screen, right? But there is actually a massive, highly coordinated system making the whole thing happen.
Now, have you ever opened an email on your phone during your morning commute, only to sit down at your laptop later and see that exact same message staring right back at you marked as unread? It is incredibly frustrating. Well, that disconnect, it's not a glitch. It is entirely by design. So today we're going to figure out exactly why this happens and why understanding the background protocols of email actually matters a whole lot in your daily digital life.
So here is our roadmap for today. 1. The Email Logistics Network. 2. SMTP, the Digital Postman. 3. The Navigation Journey. 4. Receiving, the Big Choice. And 5. The Ultimate Email Setup.
All right, Section 1. The Email Logistics Network, the hidden system. Let's establish the foundational metaphor for this whole journey.
Okay, let's just dive right in. I want you to think of the internet as this massive industrial logistics network. When you type out a message and click send, you aren't just sending digital text. You are actually dropping a meticulously packaged box onto a high-speed conveyor belt. It's a complex system that physically routes your data through multiple sorting centers before it ever even gets close to the recipient's mailbox.
And what's really fascinating here is the strict separation of duties. Just like the actual postal service, email relies on completely different departments for sending and receiving. On one side, we have the delivery van. This is SMTP, our digital postman, and its only job is to get your package from point A to point B. On the other side, we have the warehouse managers, which are POP3 and IMAP. They don't deliver the mail at all. Their job is purely to manage the inbox and dictate how you retrieve that package once it's actually arrived.
Which brings us to Section 2, SMTP, the digital postman, and handling outgoing mail.
So, how does your email actually leave your device? Well, that's all thanks to SMTP, which stands for Simple Mail Transfer Protocol. Simply put, this is the rulebook responsible for pushing emails from your personal device over to the internet's outgoing mail server. Going back to our delivery van metaphor, SMTP is literally the engine driving your package out of your driveway.
The key thing to remember is that SMTP is strictly a push mechanism. It takes the email from your device, or what we call the mail user agent, the MUA, and mechanically shoves it down the line. It does one single job, getting your message out and away from you.
But where exactly is it pushing it to? It's pushing it to the MTA, the Mail Transfer Agent. You can think of the MTA as your local digital post office. It's the first major sorting facility in the cloud that catches your outgoing mail and takes over the heavy lifting of figuring out where in the world this thing needs to go next.
Moving on to Section 3, the navigation journey, mapping out the delivery route. So once your email reaches that local digital post office, how does it know exactly where to route your package? Well, the email takes a multi-layered navigational route across the internet. It is not a straight line at all. It actually involves some really careful lookups and relaying across several different waypoints.
Let's break this complex journey down into a simple 1-2-3 process. Step 1, like we just covered, your app uses SMTP to transmit the message to the server. Now, Step 2 is absolutely crucial. This is the DNS lookup. Think of the DNS as a massive digital phone book. Your server sees an address, let's say at gmail.com, and it looks it up in this phone book to find the exact numerical IP address of the recipient's server. Finally, Step 3, the email is relayed. It might bounce through multiple intermediate servers, kind of being passed like a baton in a relay race, until SMTP finally drops it off at the destination server.
All right, Section 4, receiving mail, the big choice between POP3 and IMAP.
So the delivery van has successfully completed its route. The package has safely arrived at the destination server. But this brings us to a really crucial crossroads. Your mail is now sitting quietly in the receiving server's digital warehouse. It's arrived, sure, but it's not actually on your phone or your laptop yet. Now you have to choose your retrieval method. Are you going to use the older, traditional system called POP3, or are you going to use the modern system, IMAP?
The real point of friction here is the fundamental difference in how these two protocols handle your data once you request to read it. POP3 is an offline model. It downloads the message to your device and then completely deletes it from the server. IMAP, on the other hand, is an online model. It creates a real-time, two-way sync with the server. Let's take a closer look at how both of these actually play out.
POP3 operates quite literally like a digital claw machine.
When you check your mail, the claw drops down, grabs the email out of the server's warehouse, and drops it exclusively onto your device. Because it was designed back in an era when server storage space was, incredibly expensive, it immediately deletes the original copy from the server. Now, this absolutely saves server space, but it completely kills multi-device syncing. Once the email is on your laptop, the server is empty, meaning your phone, it's never going to see it.
Now compare that to IMAP. IMAP provides a seamless, holographic two-way sync. Instead of pulling the email completely out of the warehouse, IMAP projects a perfect copy to all of your devices. It keeps the original mail safely stored in the cloud. Whatever you do on one device, whether you read it, delete it, or file it away into a folder, that action is instantly mirrored back to the server. All your screens reflect the exact same state in real time.
Plus, IMAP has this incredibly clever design feature called the header preview. Rather than downloading massive attachments or full message bodies the second you connect, IMAP initially only downloads the envelope details, like the sender and the subject line. It actually holds off on downloading the heavy, data-rich content until you specifically tap on that message. It's a brilliant way to save your mobile data and device storage, while still keeping everything perfectly in sync.
And this brings us full circle right back to our opening hook. If you've ever experienced the frustration of unread emails piling up on your phone that you literally already dealt with on your computer, you were almost certainly dealing with a POP3 setup. The claw machine grabbed it for one device and just left the other completely in the dark. But with IMAP, you get total harmony. You read it on your phone, and it instantly updates to read on your laptop. It's magic.
Which brings us to Section 5, the ultimate email setup and the golden rule.
Now that we've completely reverse-engineered the logistics network and figured out exactly why sync problems happen, let's define the best setup for modern users. Here's a definitive decision matrix summarizing what we've learned. SMTP handles the sending, it's our push mechanism. For receiving, we've got POP3, which downloads and deletes, making multi-device support frankly terrible. And then we have IMAP, which uses a two-way sync, making multi-device support excellent. And for the technically minded out there, you'll also notice the standard network ports, like ports 25, 465, or 587 for SMTP sending, and ports 143 or 993 for secure IMAP receiving.
So what's the takeaway? Here is the absolute golden rule for configuring any email application today. Unless you have a highly specific, extreme need for offline-only archiving just to save server space, you should always combine SMTP for sending with IMAP for receiving. SMTP acts as your reliable delivery van, and IMAP acts as your modern holographic inbox manager. Together, they create the perfect unified email experience across all your screens.
So I'm going to leave you with this. The next time you get a new phone or a new laptop and you find yourself staring at that confusing list of server settings, ask yourself, are you going to choose the old claw machine or are you going to choose the hologram? Understanding the invisible logistics behind that choice empowers you to take control of your digital life. Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and I will see you next time as we decode another system hiding in plain sight.